Hey guys, Nate Short here, Windermere Real Estate. In this video, I want to give you some information that not a lot of people really understand about the history of market cycles here in the Seattle area and then how that relates to housing prices. Now, obviously you're reading that our housing supply is going up, but what does that mean for prices? Well, to better understand the answer, I think the best resource to look at is this graph, which I've shown in previous videos, and it's called the affordability graph. This is one of the great reports that our team puts together here at Windermere every month. Now, besides illustrating affordability here in the local area, it has also some really interesting historical information. The graph actually tracks data for a 30-year period dating all the way back to 1989. And just to orient you with the slide here, the blue column represents the average closed sales price of a home for that year. At the bottom, we have the interest rates at the bottom for that year, and then the orange line, well, it represents the Seattle Area Consumer Price Index, and that basically shows what the price of a home should cost in relation to the price of a basket of goods. Now, this double blue line represents the monthly payment of a home. When the cost of a home is above the orange line, it means that we're technically in an overvalued market. Now, what's interesting is 21 of the last 30 years, we have technically been in an overvalued market. And why is this? Well, mainly because of the job and population explosion here in Seattle. All the great entrepreneurs and companies that were founded here can take credit for that. So let's talk market cycles. Market cycles are invitable, and they always follow four phases: recovery, expansion, hypersupply, and recession. And real estate, as you know, is very local, and what's important to know is that different markets can actually be in different phases all at the same time. An example is luxury properties, say further out from the core of Seattle, maybe like Incarnation, can have a much different dynamic and nuance than core luxury properties like homes in Capitol Hill or West Bellevue. And of course, it's not only location driven, but it's also price point driven as well. It takes a specialist to really know each individual market. But if we look at the entire King County area and group all the real estate together, you can see that we have basically been in 3 real estate cycles over the last 30 years. And what's interesting to me is that in 2 of these cycles, housing prices were actually flat to slightly appreciating, as represented in the the 90s and the early 2000s. And by the way, we were in recessions at those times as well. This is because we had a solid local economy relative to the rest of the country. And it was only during the Great Recession from 2008 to 2012 that prices here in our local area actually went down, receding about 30% from their highs in 2007. As bad as things were in 2008, it only took 7 years for the market to fully recover, meaning that if you bought a house in 2007, if you were able to hold on to that house until 2014, you broke even or made just a little bit of money on your home, plus you had a place to live. And that is why I tell all of my clients that the decision to buy really should be based on a number of factors, with how long you can hold the property being one of the biggest. I would never buy a home myself if I was going to hold it less than 5 or 6 years. Now, given the rapid appreciation that we have had over the last few years, it might be easy to assume that prices are going to inevitably go down like they did in 2008. But I would argue that this is probably an unlikely scenario given our history and the fact that loans have been extremely hard to get since the Great Recession, and thus the financial reform that we had since 2012. The facts are that our local economy here is still expanding at nearly double the national average. And last year we added 105,000 jobs. 2019 looks to be very positive as well. Why? Because of the amazing companies that are headquartered here and expanding here. And we have 3 big things going for us. One is we have this amazing workforce that companies in today's age need. 2, we have limited land, and 3, we have an incredible place to live with a very high quality of living. These factors mean that there has been a fundamental shift in the orange line as represented on this graph, and that's what we believe. So what's the point? Well, the point is that the most likely scenario for home prices here in Seattle based on history and an eye on the future growth is that prices here are more likely going to level out in the next few years than actually go down, as we head into this next cycle. And what that means for buyers is that you're finally going to get more selection and thus be able to be a little bit pickier on where and what you choose to buy. But you are facing rising interest rates, which is going to make home prices or homes more expensive, even if prices actually don't go up. It also means that you really need someone who can help negotiate for you to make sure you don't not only overpay, but also that you're protected properly during the transaction. And for sellers, it's going to become more imperative than ever that you properly prepare your home for the market, price it appropriately, and that you market it to the most people possible using today's marketing technologies. Hiring a listing agent that really understands the nuances of the local area you live and has all these skills is a must. So to finish all this up, I would love to hear your comments on what you think will happen in our local real estate market. The one thing I do know is that it's impossible to accurately predict the top or bottom of any market, but you can make informed decisions. And I hope that you find this information helpful. So if you're thinking of making a move this year, please give me a call. You can be rest assured that I'm going to give you the best service and information available using my nearly 20 years of experience. And you can reach me at 425-891-5842, or you can email me at nate@nateshort.com. So thanks for listening, and we'll see you in the next video.